Hi, my name is Julia M. Spencer. I'm a real estate advisor, investor, and your #1 source for real estate advice online. I am right now at a shopping mall, as you can see, in Costa Rica, San Jose, where I am this week, and I wanted to shoot this brief video because I had a really nice conversation yesterday with one of you guys, one of you subscribers. And like I said, I love your questions, love your suggestions, and a lot of my video ideas come from the things that you ask me. So this video is going to be about overages. It's basically the overages more or less 101. So this is a question I get from a lot of subscribers, and it is, do you have a program on how to invest in overages, and can you teach me how to do it? A lot of people ask me where to get the contracts, the forms, which one of my ebooks covers overages, and also just more information about overage investing. Now, for those of you that haven't watched my channel before, overage investing is also called excess proceeds investing. That just basically means that in the states where there is an overage created during a tax sale, that overage normally goes to the original owner of the home, and overage investors go in and collect on that particular overage for the original owner as a third party, and then basically get a cut of that. And a lot of people are getting interested in that. They want to get into that. It seems to be very lucrative, and they basically want to know how to do this. So here's my answer to all those questions, because I got into a little bit of a conversation about this. For starters, I don't personally do overage investing. I know how to do it. I've helped people do it, and I have a couple of friends that do it, but I personally don't consider overage investing real estate investing. It's more of a cash recovery business. That being said, it is also a pretty good way to get into kind of like the real estate investing arena without having too much knowledge about actual real estate, because it's like you gotta have some knowledge, but it's not real estate specific. It's really more about how to find people, how to collect on those funds, how to find the money that is located at the government offices, and also how to research the laws and property records. So overage investing, so how do you do it? What do I think about it, and how can I help you with it? I can certainly point you into the direction of where to get the forms. And I always tell subscribers that want to get into overage investing, there's really no use in purchasing a program on how to do it. But you do have to understand how it works. Now you can find some sort of, hey! No Spanish. So I hate to split the video up into two different backgrounds, but actually as I was making the video there at the mall, I don't know if you noticed it, I left it in if there was any footage of that, but we were basically told by a security guard there that we can't do a video there. And it was in Spanish, so I didn't understand exactly what he was saying other than no filmar or something like that. So we're at a different location now. I'm going to finish this video now. And always some sort of mishap. Anyways, I don't want to start over, but I basically wanted to give you some feedback on some questions that I had about overage investing. So first off, a lot of you ask me, how much success have I had with overage investing? How do I do it? A lot of people ask me, where can they get the contracts and also the forms that are needed, and basic information about how to collect on this overage. Now you'd think, and there's a lot of challenges associated with that kind of investing. I already mentioned I don't consider it a real estate investing endeavor per se. It's like a debt collecting activity. It's a cash recovery business, so it's not really what I do. But I can give you a little bit of feedback on it. I do have an ebook, my second ebook, which is called How to Make More Money with Tax Sale Foreclosure Investing, that has an interview in there with a real estate investor who is an overage investor. Now, he's been in the business for a really long time on the debt collection side, so he has all kinds of skip trace methods that he embraces to find people, and he goes through a whole slew of ways of how to find somebody. Now, you think that normally it would be pretty easy when you approach somebody and tell them, hey, there's all this money sitting in the government fund, would you like me to collect it for you for a small fee? You think that the person who that money is owed to would be pretty happy. But believe it or not, when people have gotten into such bad situations that they've lost their property in an auction, a lot of times they really don't want anything to do with it. And you can, of course, try to convince them that the money is owed to them and do your whole negotiation and sales tactics, but a lot of times people won't even open the door to even listen to you long enough. So that's one of the challenges that were revealed to me through that interview with that real estate investor and private conversations, which were not included in that ebook, so I'm sharing them with you right now. A lot of times what you'll find too is that when you go to the government offices to collect on these funds, sometimes there's no laws for them to even talk to you at all as a third party, and then there's also no laws on any kind of timeline by which they have to pay out that kind of money to the original owner. So a lot of times the money just sits there until it goes away. And what I mean by goes away is there is a certain timeline after which, if the money is not claimed, it just goes to the general county or city or government fund, or else it just sits there forever and is then applied to any kind of future taxes that occur in the time that it sits there. And so eventually the money is all used up for future taxes. And so what I've found, this overage investor said, is that he a lot of times had really hard time trying to put pressure on government officials to actually pay this money out. So even if he found the original owners, he has signed contracts with them, they've already agreed on his salary or his portion, his fee. He goes with all of this paperwork to the government officials, and they basically say, hey, we don't have to do anything. Show us the law where it says we have to pay out before 5 years is up or something crazy. And there is no such law in a lot of cases, so they just keep it. They keep the money. There's a lot of frustration for this overage investor. He originally contacted me because he wanted to learn how to do real estate investing for real. And I apologize for the noise. We're actually right in the middle of the city here, San Jose in Costa Rica. And yeah, it's loud. So anyways, continued video, some of the challenges with overage investing. So trying to get somebody on contract is difficult once you find them, which is also difficult. And then trying to collect the money from the government officials is also difficult. Now, in order to make this very successful, of course, you have to have a lot of these overages, because a lot of them are pretty small. The big ones are usually snatched up by the big wig investors that do this for a living and are very good at it. And they might get to this overage and have the contract signed way before you even find out that there was an overage, i.e. they negotiate these contracts with the original owners prior to the actual auction. So this is also a problem. But when you do find the small pots of money here and there, obviously you can of course try to collect on them. But here's the problem. If you can't put any pressure on the government officials to pay this money out, what you have to do is try to find an attorney and get an attorney as a retainer and pay them a fee to try to help you push these things, so that an attorney can then send this paperwork to the government officials to kind of pressure them into paying out this money to the original owner. Even so, as a third party, you might have problems. Some counties will accept these applications if they come from an attorney, which is sometimes considered a third party that is more legal than just the any-day Joe from the street, which is you. And they might actually respond to those kinds of requests. But if you're just the everyday Joe from the street, they might not hand the money out to you without any kind of pressure like that. Another problem that you can run into, and this is a big thing, you're really going to have to learn how to research properties. And even though there might be a huge overage generated, there might be other liens against the property filed at the county courthouse or the courthouse. And unfortunately, as an overage investor, that overage, all lien holders on any particular property have access to it, or have the right to it, I should say, before you do as an overage investor. So you're gonna have to learn before you even do all this work of running around trying to find the owner, trying to negotiate with the government officials, trying to get an attorney on retainer. You're gonna have to find out if it's even worth it. And the way you do that is by researching property records. So let's say that a property is sold at a tax sale in error. Not even in error, but let's say it's sold at a tax sale. Now normally at the tax sale, the original mortgage is erased for the tax sale buyer, for the actual buyer of the tax lien. And the overage, if there is one generated, then goes to the county. Now, the buyer of the tax sale foreclosure, the investor that bought the tax sale foreclosure at the auction, they are not responsible for the mortgage anymore, because the mortgage is a junior lien to the tax lien that they bought at the auction. Now, because there's an overage created, that overage then goes to the county courthouse or wherever this property is filed at. And even though the mortgage is no longer the responsibility of the new tax sale, tax deed or tax lien owner, the mortgage company actually still has a claim for that overage. So, and as an overage investor, it is your requirement to try to find out who all the other lien holders are and pay them off before you can collect the overage. And a lot of times counties will ensure that that actually happens. So you need to know beforehand what kinds of liens, how much in dollar amounts are on any particular property, because if you're an overage investor, everybody that has a lien against a particular property has a claim on that overage before you do. And just let that sink in. So as a tax sale foreclosure investor, you are the first in line, most senior lien holder most times, unless there's an IRS lien or another government lien, such as a property maintenance lien issued by a county or a city, which are also government liens. But now if you want to collect an overage, every lien has to be paid off before you. An overage is basically what's left over. So you're going to need to know if there's a hospital lien, if there's a mortgage lien, if there's a contractor lien, if there's a property maintenance lien, if there's really any kind of lien, because they all have to be satisfied prior to you collecting any overages. The research of all of this takes a lot of time. Hiring an attorney costs also time, but primarily money. And of course, paying off all these liens also costs money. So you really have to learn how to put all the pieces, all the ducks in a row, and to collect that overage for the original owner. And some of this takes an extraordinary amount of time and perseverance and staying on the task. It is really a full-time job. So when you approach me, a lot of you guys actually approach me to ask questions about overage investing. This is primarily the reason why I don't do overage investing. To me, it just never seemed worth my time and my effort in the investment. If I have to pay a couple of $1,000s to hire an attorney, and I have to spend several days or weeks of my time trying to find all this information and gather it all together and be quick enough to beat out anybody else that might be having an eye on this property, I might as well just search a tax sale with 100 properties and buy one or two from myself from the same amount of money. So it's kind of like time economics as well as money economics for me. So I don't do overage investing for that reason. Now, I don't want to discourage you from doing it if that's the route that you want to take, but I also want you to be aware of some of the pitfalls of that particular strategy. Now, in the end, let's say you're successful. Let's say you do collect an overage for somebody. You do collect a nice fee. You get a couple $1,000s maybe. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with that money? That's really the key thing. Because if you're going to go out and spend it on a vacation, or, you know, pay your bills or buy yourself something nice, that doesn't really help you in the long run. That's kind of like cash in the pocket is not really real wealth. It's spending money. So in my opinion, my personal humble opinion, overage investing is great, but use it only as a spring form, a platform to get to the next level. And the next level for you should always be to build a portfolio of income-making real estate properties that you keep for the long term, because that's really where your wealth is going to be. So I hope this video was informational. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, always put them at the bottom of this video. I look forward to hear from you. And subscribe to my website there. The website is at the bottom of this video right here. And make sure that you download your free guide to real estate investing. Send me comments, suggestions, and I look forward to them. And keep watching my videos. Share them if you think that they're useful. Have a great day investing.
For your free guide to real estate investing, visit juliamspencer.com.